Hello friends, welcome back to Programming Fields. I'm Umesh Rana. Today we have got an exciting tutorial for you as we delve into building a robust and secure authentication system using Laravel. If you are into web development, you know how important it is to have a strong authentication mechanism. So let's get started. But before we dive into the code, let's quickly talk about Laravel. Laravel is a powerful PHP framework known as for its elegant syntax and developer-friendly features. Now the very first thing you should know, why is a secure authentication system important in web applications? Well, it is the gateway to your application that ensures only authorized user can access sensitive information or perform any certain actions in your application. In today's video, our goal is to guide you through the process of building a secure authentication system using Laravel. Alright, let's jump right into it. The first step is setting up our Laravel project. If you have not installed, so here I have navigated to the VS Code and I already created one Laravel project, and as of now I have not installed anything. It is completely blank. So before starting any practical example, let's understand the different types of authentication system provided by Laravel. So Laravel supports different authentication systems such as basic auth, API auth, two-factor authentication, and many more. Okay, so if I will note down the basic auth, in which this will contain user register, login, password reset functionality, and email verification. So this will come under the basic authentication. For this, Laravel provides different packages, and by using those packages, we can use the basic authentication, inbuilt authentication provided by Laravel. Now we will discuss about API authentication, that will be token based. So this will be token based authentication, and we can consider this as for API based authentication. That we will discuss in the upcoming videos in the detail. For implementing basic authentication in Laravel, Laravel provides different libraries such as UI Auth, Breeze, Jetstream, etc. So today in this video, we will discuss about basic authentication that will be used for web authentication system. And for implementing this basic authentication, we will be using Laravel Breeze package. So if you will navigate to the Laravel documentation, if you will search for authentication system, then under this starter kits, you will see Laravel Breeze. So if you will come to this Laravel application starter kit link, then it will open this one. Here we will see the quick guide of using Laravel Breeze package. Alright, and also we have this Laravel Jetstream, that will be more advanced authentication system in comparison to Breeze. So it totally depends on your need of your application, like if you want a basic authentication or advanced, just like team management, because Laravel Jetstream supports two stacks, that will be Livewire and Inertia. If you will see here in the documentation itself, then it supports Livewire and Inertia. If we will go with Livewire, then Livewire supports Laravel Blade templating engine. So Livewire is another featureful library provided by Laravel itself, and it is managed by Laravel community. Now if we will talk about Inertia, then Inertia is a JavaScript library that will work with Vue.js. Regarding Livewire and Inertia, we will see these things in the separate videos. And Laravel provides another library that is called Laravel 45. So this Laravel 45 library will be used for backend authentication system. So that we will see in the upcoming videos as well. So as of now, in this video, I will go with the basic authentication system provided by Laravel using Laravel Breeze package. Alright, so here I already have installed Laravel 10, and if you will see, then we don't have anything, it's completely blank. Okay, so now we will follow Laravel official documentation for installing Laravel Breeze package. So switch to Laravel starter kits. So under this starter kit, we will follow the official documentation of installing Laravel Breeze package. So simply copy this command, switch to terminal, and here we will paste it. So if you hit enter, then here this Laravel Breeze is installed. Now switch back to VS Code, and if we will navigate to this composer.json file, then you can see this Laravel Breeze is installed. Okay, now switch back to documentation again, and here now we will follow the next step. So after this Laravel Breeze package is installed, we will have to run this Breeze install. Okay, so let's copy this command and paste it here. So here it opened a prompt in which it is asking which stack would you like to install for this authentication system. So here in the given option you will see this is asking for Blade with Alpine.js, Livewire, React with Inertia, Vue with Inertia, and API only. Okay, so as of now we are going to discuss about web authentication system, so we will go with Blade with Alpine only. Alright, so it is selected by default. Now I will hit enter only. So now it is asking would you like dark mode support, yes or no. I will select yes. And now in the next prompt it asks which testing framework do you prefer. So as we know, Laravel supports PHP unit and paste. Paste is a different libraries provided by Laravel, and PHP unit is the default inbuilt testing mechanism. As of now we will go with PHP unit only. So here it is installing. So this will take a couple of seconds to install, and now you can see this installed Breeze scaffolding. Alright, and if we will switch back to VS Code editor, then you will see it installed node modules as well, right? So this auth package requires front-end stack, so that's why here the node modules is installed by default. So now again switch back to documentation, and here we will follow the next step. So in the next step it is suggesting we have to hit this migrate command, but wait, we have not created any migration, and even we have not created any database connection. If I will show you by navigating to the .env file, then we can see we don't have any database connected with the Laravel application. Yeah, then something is interesting here. Let's see how this will work. Now let me just copy this command and switch back to terminal, and here I will paste it. PHP artisan migrate. So it said access denied for user root @ localhost. Yes, and this is why, because MySQL server requires password. Okay, so as of now I will just put db password as root because that is my SQL server password, and I have not created any database, but I will provide one database name just like Laravel Auth DB. This is fine. When I will re-enter this migrate command, then it will create database with the name Laravel Auth DB for me, and this database will be created inside MySQL. Alright, so now let's see the magic of Laravel. So again I will enter this command php artisan migrate, and here it said the database Laravel Auth DB does not exist on the MySQL connection. Would you like to create it? So I will select yes. So by selecting yes, it will create database for me. Alright, and here after creating this database, it dumped all these migrations. If I will switch back to database and let me search that database as Laravel Auth DB, and you can see it generated these default tables. So this is interesting. Now again switch back to Laravel documentation, and here we will run npm install and npm run dev. So let's run npm install and npm run dev. Yes, so this bundled all the assets and JavaScript things together, and now if we will switch back to Laravel application and if I will refresh it, then we can see this has login and register link. If we will try to click on this login, then it redirected to this login page. Okay, and here it provided forgot password option as well. So here by entering the email address, we can receive the email password reset link. Now switch back to home page, and again we will have this register option. So if we will click on register, then we have this user register page. So from here we can create user. So let's see, I will create user password, and by default if we will check, then there will be validation as well. You can see this triggered the password field confirmation does not match. So let's see. Yeah, as soon as we have registered, this automatically logged in that user and redirected to the dashboard page. Now if we will try to switch back to home page just by removing this dashboard, then here you can see this removed login and register option, and instead of that it's shown dashboard only. If we will click on dashboard, then here we will redirect it to this dashboard page. Inside this profile option, we have this profile and logout option. If we will click on this profile, then from here we can manage profile information, we can update this password, even we can delete this account. So really this is cool and awesome feature provided by Laravel Authentication Breeze package. Now if we will try to change this profile information just like programming fields, If I will save it, then here it's saved and immediately it reflected this session as well. Now if we'll try to log out and let's try to log in. So simply enter that password, and if I will log in, then yes, it logged in again. Now if we will navigate to the database, and if you will see in this users table, this created one record. Okay, now let's switch back to VS Code editor and we will see how this is working behind this authentication system. So firstly we will navigate to our homepage blade. As we can see, if I will log out this application, here in the homepage it added two links, login and register. So let's navigate to the homepage blade, as we can find that file inside this resources views, and inside this we have welcome.blade. Okay, so scroll down and here if you will see, there is one condition, if else. So inside this if, it says if route has login, then it will add dashboard, login and register option. Okay, and inside this auth directive is used. If the user is logged in, then the user will able to see dashboard page, else it will display login and register option. All right, so here if you will see, this is checking route has login, but we have not created route login as of now. If we will switch back to web.php, then here we will see this added auth middleware and few routes just like profile and dashboard, but here we can't see login and register. So inside this routes folder, if you will notice, it created auth.php route file. If you will navigate to this file, then here you will be able to see register, login, forgot password, reset password token and verify email. All these auth related routes are available here. So Laravel takes care all these things automatically just by installing one package, Laravel Breeze. Okay, and if you will notice these endpoints, then based on these endpoints, it created couple of controllers as well. Here you can see register controller, authentication session, password reset link controller, new password controller. To handle these things, it generated controllers as well. So if we will switch back to app, http and controllers folder, then inside this auth there are couple of controllers created by Laravel Breeze. So let's navigate to register. So inside this register we have this create function and it is returning a view auth.register. So if we will navigate to this auth.register, this is available inside views auth folder and we have this register.blade file. Inside this blade file we have the register form with the inputs name, email and password. Alright, similarly we have this login blade and inside this login we have this login form and it navigated to this login route. We have this email and password, and in the bottom we had this forgot password option. Similarly we have this forgot password blade. Inside we have this form with the email address. By entering this email address we will able to reset our password, and next we have this reset password blade. So if we want to reset our password, then we will have to verify the email and password by confirming the password, and at last we have this verify email. So by clicking this verify email, our email address will be verified. Now switch back to controller and here we will see register controller. So inside this registered user controller we have this store function and a basic validation, and once the user input is validated, it will be stored in the users table, and here it triggered one event registered, and as soon as the user is created, it will automatically log in that user and redirect to the dashboard page. So inside this it called route service provider, and that is already defined in app providers folder. So if we will navigate to app, and here we have this providers. Inside this we have route service provider. For this home it defined /dashboard, and this is basically our dashboard route. And if we will search this dashboard route here in this web.php, if we will navigate to /dashboard, then it will open dashboard view. And now let's again switch back to controller, that is registered user controller. So here if you will see, it triggered one event, that is registered, and inside this event it passed created a user object. So here it triggered this registered registered event. And if you will search this registered event, then you will be able to find that in the providers, that will be inside app providers folder, and here search for this event service provider. Inside this event, there is one protected listen array, and here it registered this registered class, and here it will trigger this send email verification notification. Now switch back to other controllers. So here we have this authenticated session controller. So inside this we have this create function again, and here it will open the login page. And once we enter the email and password, then here it will authenticate, and based on the authentication, here it will generate the session, and then it will redirect to the dashboard page. So inside this store function, if you will see, this is calling login request, and that login request is defined inside HTTP request folder, and we have this auth. Inside this we have this login request. Inside this login request we have this validation rules, email and password, and there is one authenticate function. So inside this authenticate function, the rate limiter is called. Means by default the authentication system provides throttle. This throttle will define the rate limiter of this login. That means how many times the user attempted with the invalid login credentials, and in that case it will block that user for some particular time period. Yeah, so if we'll navigate here, then we'll see inside this rate limiter function, the throttle key is defined with 5. That means the number of attempts can be tried 5 times. Now we will discuss about profile update request. This is the form request just to update the profile information, in which we can update name in email. So for that, this validation is added here. Again switch back to controllers folder, and here we will see profile controller. So inside this profile, if we will switch back to edit option, just like let me navigate to login page again, and here, and inside this profile option, this name and email field validation is added here inside this profile update request. And when we will submit this profile, it will simply trigger up this update function. And after saving this profile information, it will return to the same page, profile edit, with this status profile updated. And this destroy function is to delete current user, just like we saw this delete account option. So by clicking on this will delete this current user. So now if we will switch back again to this authenticate session controller, and here we will see this destroy function. So basically this destroy function will be used to unauthenticate this session. Means if we want to log out this user, then that destroy function will be called, and all these session things will be invalidated. Okay, now we will switch back to web, and here we will see this middleware is used. Regarding this middleware, we will discuss that in a separate video. So here inside this middleware, you can see auth middleware is called, and all these routes are grouped inside this auth middleware. If we will switch back to middleware folders, inside this app we have this middlewares, and inside this we have this authenticate.php. Here the function is created redirect. So inside this function, it will check if the user is logged in, then it will process the request, or else it will redirect to the login page. And this middleware is registered inside this kernel.php that is available inside this app folder. If you will scroll down, then here you will see inside this middleware alias, this authenticate class middleware is registered with the name of alias auth, and this auth is used inside this route group to check if before accessing these routes user is authenticated, means user is logged in or not, because this profile update and profile delete section will come inside the authentication only. If the user is logged in, then that user can able to update, view and delete the profile information. Alright, so that's why this middleware is called here, just to group these all routes. Now switch back to browser, and here we will see email verification and password reset link option. So here if I will navigate to this login, we have this forgot password option. So if we will switch to this page, then inside this forgot password option, it is asking to enter email in which it can send email verification link. So let me try to add this email. If I will send, then it thrown one error, connection could not be established with host. Yeah, because as of now we have not configured email credentials in our application in order to send emails. If you scroll down, then inside this mail configuration, this is the default email configuration. Alright, in order to working with email, we will have to add our email configuration just like SMTP host, port, username, password and encryption. Then we can able to send this email just to reset this password. Now we will see how we can customize the users table in order to capture more input fields in order to add such as profile picture and other information. So for that we have this database migrations, and inside this create users table, these are the default fields added here. So if we want to add more fields, then we can create a separate migration that will be associated with this users table, and we already discussed related to migration and database seeding things in our previous videos. I will share that link in this description box as well, and accordingly we will have to update this model fillable data inside this user model. We have covered a lot today, from setting up Laravel project to implementing advanced authentication features. I hope this step-by-step guide has been helpful. Before we wrap up, let's quickly recap the key points covered in building the Laravel authentication system. We explored basic authentication, customized registration and login, and we implemented advanced features like email verification and two-factor authentication. So if you find helpful to this tutorial, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe our channel. Also, you can share this video with your fellow developers. And if you have any doubt, suggestion or feedback, then don't forget to leave that in the comment section below. I will happy to see that. Thank you and see you in the next video.